It feels like Humanoids entered the media and PR stage just 2 years ago. But actually, they've been in development since the 50s and 60s. And that's why we want to dedicate this episode to take a little history walk and go through the evolution of humanoids from those times until today.
Automation Awakenings, your weekly dose of best practices for logistics automation.
Welcome to the next episode of the Automation Awakenings podcast. And welcome back to our studio, Matthias Koblitz.
Thanks, Olli.
Yeah, I'm getting used to your new last name, actually.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah, it's also a change, and I still catch myself responding to phone calls with my old last name.
Yeah, sure. Happens. And we all are getting used to more and more humanoids on YouTube, on TV. Yeah, they're basically everywhere. And like Matthias said in the intro, it feels that it's a new hype and it's something brand new. But after our research, we found out that also this technology, like many others, have a very long history, which dates back. I even found something in 1939.
What?
Yes, but what is
Okay.
your first quote you found about humanoids?
Yeah. So what I found is that there's been, first attempts, first pilots already in the 50s, 60s, but it didn't take. Oh, fuck. But it took actually until the 70s that those devices looked somewhat like humanoids do today.
Well, I found a really crazy example actually. Already in 1939, there was a company in the US, they developed a humanoid, and its name was Electro.
Okay.
Yeah, and you could actually, or you had to call him by phone to give him tasks, or tasks. You could tell him like walk, and he started walking. Very basic, very simple, but to make it even more crazy, he could smoke a cigarette.
What?
He smoked a cigarette. Google it. There are
Okay.
pictures of it, and and to make it even more crazy, after some time, they even developed a little dog for him to to walk around.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have to check that.
we will link it
Yeah, we should link
with
this.
our video because nobody will believe that.
We should certainly link it. But maybe coming back to the general evolution of mobile robots. Of humanoids, of course. Still in the mobile robots sphere. I think you can cut this into three big, in three big episodes, basically. Big development steps that this technology took. I think the first big step was all about walking, so walking robots. And then the second step was all about walking plus a certain kind of intelligence, quite low in the beginning, but combined with intelligence. And then finally, and this is where we are at the moment, it's all about walking and high intelligence. So this is how experts basically cluster the evolution of humanoids. And the first cluster that you mentioned started obviously in 1939. What I found is the 70s, so where it really kickstarted, and a lot that happened was around Waseda University of Tokyo. So many of these early developments, they date back to research projects run by Waseda University, and some of the robots, now I have to check the name here, they've been called, for example, Wabot, which was released in 1973, and Wabyen, in 1986. So these are considered to be the first like real proper steps in the cluster of simple walk.
Yeah, it's interesting that you are mentioning Japan here, because I think all the millennials, geeks out there still remember the Honda Asimo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you know it?
I have it on my list, yes.
Yeah, for sure, because it was very famous back then. It was, I think, presented in the year 2000.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was a revolution. This robot could walk, could pick up a box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But already it looked like an astronaut.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But it was pretty famous. I still remember it
Yeah.
being a teenager back then.
I think it was famous also due to the fact that basically, yeah, founded this second evolution step, the second cluster of walking plus low intelligence. So we have the Asimo 2000 here, and we have the Qrio by Sony as well.
Ah, again, Japan.
So again, a Japanese company here. And obviously these robots, they also could interact like on a very simple basis. They would interact with you. They could even, I think, talk. So yeah, it was somewhat of a highlight, because for the first time a robot seemed to behave and move like a human and got a really nice stage by being promoted by such big corporations like Honda and Sony.
Cool.
Yep. So that's the representatives of cluster 2, of evolution step 2, so to say. And now let's take a look into the last evolution step that we are currently in, the walking, jumping, rolling, and especially high intelligence humanoids.
So the Boston Dynamics
Yes.
type of robot, yeah, which can do parkour even.
Yeah. So you're already mentioning one of the probably most famous providers that are out there with Boston Dynamics. We have Petman as a product there, and Atlas. And those are doing incredible stuff on YouTube. So you have this parkour video of the robot jumping around. And it's very impressive to see them do all of these movements and to just perform in that parkour.
Yeah, these videos are incredible. Yeah, and they seem to be real.
They seem to be real. I also saw a video, for example, of, I think it was Atlas, that was walking around in a forest with snow. So it was quite slippery.
Crazy.
And he was like, he was stumbling a couple of times, but he could always react in time and, keep the balance. And balance is a big keyword here. So keeping balance seems to be a really, really tough thing for a engineer or a developer to ensure with such a device.
Okay, why is that?
It's a good question. I'm too less of an expert here, but this bipedal walking
Okay.
was a really huge challenge. That's why it took from the 1939s
Right.
until the 2000s. Let's say the 70s. Because the Waseda-based humanoids also walked to overcome this challenge. And I think it's still a topic that is tricky, and that actually highlights on how complex these devices are and how many different fields of academia have to interplay with each other here. Yeah, we have mechanics, we have electronics, we have AI, we have sensing, we have actuation. It's so many different fields that need to that need to interplay with each other. That probably, this is gonna be a big challenge for the whole industry to keep those things together and to develop them at the same speed, so that the humanoids in the next evolution step will again make a leap forward in terms of utilitarian features.
Yeah, I think only recently the topic of facial expressions was added to these robots.
Yeah.
And here I actually found an interesting fun fact. Most of these humanoid robots are perceived male or have a male name.
Mm-hmm.
And there is one famous example, and it's in Saudi Arabia, where they actually developed a female robot called Sophia, and they took a lot of effort to express facial movements of this robot, and she has a Saudi Arabian passport, so this robot was granted citizenship.
Wow, that's a really good fun fact.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm thinking about other humanoids that come to my mind. And of course, you're thinking about Optimus Prime, the Tesla bot, or humanoid, I should say, that, is probably gonna be pushed hard in terms of automation at Tesla itself. At least that's what Elon Musk is saying and repeating all the time. We saw them at the We Robot event, serving as barkeepers, interacting with guests. However, they were assisted by employees the whole time because, to be honest, probably they're not as far as they seem to be. But it's also rather male in terms of name, in terms of behavior, size as well.
Right.
So that's an interesting thought.
I have the feeling that in the last years and up till today, we have a big focus on this marketing, PR type of robots. Yeah, we know all these stories. I've seen that Toyota developed a robot which can actually play the violin. Yeah, which is cool, but will not help a lot. And there is even a robot called, how was it called? Alter 3, who is actually conducting an orchestra.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, really wow. I think the human colleagues didn't like him so much.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think with that, we're already into more of a chit chat, and to be continued in the coffee corner after our episode is recorded here. But maybe to get back to you guys, to you listeners, of course, thanks for joining us for this episode. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, to join our journey through the humanoid universe, to prepare ourselves for this new disruptive technology, and to, make you benefit out of that, and to hopefully also prepare yourself for you and your organization.
See you next Monday.
See you next Monday. Take care and goodbye.
This was another episode of the Automation Awakenings podcast. Visit us at automation-awakenings.com.